What is up, everyone? So I will be walking through the 3kCTF challenge emoji today. I did not get this done during the CTF. I actually got it done last night. And unfortunately, they actually took down the challenge today, which kind of sucks. But they still have the attachment available, which is a source code. So I already have that downloaded. Um, And this is what we are given. So we have an unknown secret up here. Normally it would have some type of long secret key there. And then the flag, which is redacted here, but it's still a string, so we can still get it. So it's just a simple PHP page. I will actually be setting this up in a Docker file. So since it's taken offline, I'm going to walk you through how to set it up in a Docker file. So I already have a Docker file set up for this. So we're going to be using PHP 8, the Apache one. You can create this Docker file. It'll also be up on the GitHub. So anyways, we go ahead, update, upgrade, clean, clear all that out. And then we're going to go ahead and copy everything from our app directory, so the index PHP, into the var www HTML. And then we change directories into HTML, which I guess we really don't have to, but it's at least working in the same location as where we're running. And then we just go ahead and we spin up Apache. Now, I don't know everything that the challenge had on the box. This one, I kind of left it pretty basic. One thing I do want to add is I'm going to install netcat traditional, because I do know that that was on the box that we were targeting. So really quick, if you just want to see how to solve it, this is really what the payload looked like. The way the challenge worked is you're pointed at this, at the index, or at the main web page. And when you first look at it, it's got a couple of directories that you can click on. So you have eggs, parrots, or Pepe. But you'll notice that we have access or control over this dir variable. So we can really pass in whatever dir we want, and it will try to load it. And so if we look up here, there's this fetch and parse. So it says, hey, if dir is set, go ahead and collect emoji list from fetch and parse, and it just passes in dir. Which here you'll notice that there's no filters applied to this. So it's really just saying, hey, go ahead and look at GitHub user content and then these directories. But we are able to perform a directory traversal attack on this. So we can do ... and then we can load anything on GitHub usercontent.com. So what we're going to do is create our own repository, and we'll pass that in to the dir function and load our own payload HTML. And so all it is you'll see that it's looking for all of the image sources. So we're going to go ahead and create an image source, and all it's really looking for is image source and then a question mark, and then anything here except for another question mark, and then it's closing out the caret. So pretty easy to match whatever we want. So these are the payloads I kind of went with for now. I have two in here because you can do local testing and remote testing. Right now, we're not going to really be at, like, we could technically just use the one because we're going to be local on my VM. Actually update this IP. But I'll also show the ngrok method so that you can, if you were doing this remote, you could do it without having to open a firewall rule and point it back to your actual IP. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this set up. So I have this Docker file. First things first, we're going to go ahead and go over to GitHub and create a new repo. Just going to call it 3kCTF2021. It's going to be public because we need to be able to read from it, and go ahead and create the repo. Now I'm going to just copy that. And we're going to go over to our clone. All right, so now we have our repo in here. And you'll see that it's empty. So I'm going to go ahead and just start copying everything over. Copy this stuff over and paste it in here. And 3kCTF. All right, so I'm just gonna git add all. It. All right, so now our repo has files in it. So if we go back to code, we have everything here that we need. So we have our Docker file, which we'll be able to use to spin stuff up. So the way I'm going to be doing this is I actually have a dev server here. So I'm just going to go in my op folder, and I'm actually going to I'll leave the old emoji one here, but I'm just going to git clone. Actually, it's going to be easier if I don't do this from this console. I'm going to, as you can see, I have lots of, I was messing around with this for a little bit. Developer, and all right, cd ops. All right, git clone. All right, let's go ahead and grab this again. So I'm just going to clone down the entire directory. Oh. Always helps if you have sudo permissions. All right, so I now have the 3kCTF, so I'm going to go in there and into Emoji. All right, so now I have my Docker file here. There isn't really anything I need to. I'm just going to validate it. Have that. Installing netcat traditional. Clean. Should be good. So we're going to go ahead and close out of it. So the next thing we're going to do is just sudo docker run, pass in our ports, and I'm gonna detach from it. Oh, helps if test. Oh wait, docker build. We'll do php test. So this is going to go ahead and build that Docker file for us. All right, looks like it built successfully. Docker run port 8080 php test. All right, so we have this up and running. So now I should be able to go over to my Kali host and just pull up web page, and there we go. So this is what you would have seen initially. It's just eggs, parrots, and Pepe. So if you click here, you'll see it loads dir and it says eggs. I'm gonna go ahead and send stuff over to burp. Have proxy intercepts on. I'm gonna set my options. make sure that I put it in target scope because I only really care about capturing that traffic. So let's go ahead and click on that. Is on. Oh, I didn't have it. So let's go ahead and add that to scope. Yes. All right. And let's go ahead and send this over. Well, go ahead and refresh this. So we got that. Let's send this over to repeater. And this is what we'll look at it first. So right now we're just passing in eggs. And we know that we want to be able to pass in directory traversal. So we need to figure out what that will look like based on the source file. We can see it's 1, 2, 3 up. So we need to do let's go ahead and set up 3 of that, and then we need to figure out where our repo is. So we're looking at, we want to get this payload.html. So we're going to be looking at Shifty Sheep 3kCTF2021, and let's just go ahead and load it up. Let's view raw. So this is actually what they're loading is the raw. So we're going to go ahead and just take this portion right here. I guess actually we can include the payload because that's the important part. Copy that and go back over to here. Paste that in. So we're going to ask it to load the directory of Shifty Sheep 3kCTF 2021 master emoji payload. And so we should see it load our image references over here. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to take this portion and I'm going to load it in the web browser. It is actually pretty easy to work with this one in the URL. So we're just going to do dir equals, and as you can see, I've already done some stuff in here. Go ahead and paste that, load it, and it should return. Oh, I forgot. We have intercept on. Let's go ahead and turn intercept off. So we have 2 images here. So the first thing we want to do is figure out which one is which. This looks like the ngrok one. This is going to be our local host. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to stand up netcat lvnp on 5060. Let's make sure that was that right. Oh, I forgot to include a. So we're not going to do the localhost one because I forgot to include a port number on there. So we'll go ahead and use this ngrok. So if you haven't used ngrok before, you can just go to the website and download it. And then once you run it, you can select ngrok, TCP, and then whatever port you want. So I selected 5060 for my local. So it will give you a forwarding address that's publicly accessible, and it just forwards it to a local host. So this is the host name here up until the colon, and then we have the 18796, which is our port. So it'll just forward it to this 5060. And so let's go ahead and we'll just click on this, and we'll see that it goes ahead and requests the file download, and we can take this right here and we will just echo it out to base64 decode. And there we go. So that's how you could have done it. You could also just output the entire file if you wanted. I like base64 encoding it because we don't have to worry about special characters or anything like that. It'll just come across. But yeah, so we can look a little bit at the payload. So we're really just catting that index.php, grepping for the flag, base64ing it, and then sending it to netcat on whatever we want. And so the way that it works is once we pass in that URL, the important part is getting the secret. We're not able to get that secret because we don't know it, so we can't get the HMAC of whatever the URL is. So we couldn't just pass in whatever URL we wanted. We had to create that directory traversal into it loading our malicious payload web page, because then it returns the URL, and it takes that URL, does the SHA-256 using its secret, and returns that key. So if we look, go back here to burp, and we look at our HTTP history. So we request here, and so you'll see the two components. So we have our URL, which is our payload really, and then we have our key, which is that HMAC key. So if it wasn't secret, we wouldn't be able to really create that key without them doing it for us, unless there was some other vulnerability present, but there wasn't. And so then the next thing we do is when we send in the URL and the key, it hits this else if here, and then so it will check the key, and it will actually say, okay, I'm going to take that URL, I'm going to compare it to my secret, SHA-256, and it has to, this is a strong equals, so it has to be the same type, and it also has to match. So you can't do some trickery or anything like that. And then it comes down here and it passes in this bash command, which is where we're really attacking, because it's really just passing it straight into bash. It does have this shell escape shell arg, but all that really does is it just puts a single quote around the entire thing and create a string out of it. But the way that we are breaking that is we are doing this subcommand for the bash, and that's where it's actually doing it. So it's actually breaking. Like, it's not going to return anything really here to this bash command, because we're not actually returning anything. We're sending everything over to netcat. So yeah, that is the challenge. I wish I still had the challenge up to show you guys. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this and hope it was informative. And I'll catch you guys later.